Hi there, my name is Shannon. I'm Willamette Week's music and visual arts editor. I'm here today with Renee Patrick, who recently was one of the first people to through hike Oregon's 566-mile Blue Mountain Trail. Renee, how's it going today?
It would be better if I was hiking, but I'll settle for a day indoors.
Because you completed the Blue Mountain Trail, was it in October, I believe?
Yeah, so I actually broke it up into two parts. I hiked about 100 miles, a little over 100 miles in August, and then I completed the rest of the trail in the month of October, finishing on Halloween. So, yeah, I was prepared for a cold month out there, and it ended up being a pretty mild October in northeastern Oregon. So I think I got lucky.
Have you been able to go out and do much hiking since then?
I have not. Unfortunately, I developed plantar fasciitis towards the end of my hike. So the last couple days, I had intense heel pain on my right foot, not knowing what it was, but I'm glad it waited to the last couple days to flare up. So I've been taking it pretty easy the last few months, doing a little skiing. I live in Bend, Oregon, so doing some skiing and starting to do longer walks. But yeah, there's nothing like a long walk. A month is good, 6 months is best.
Well, this might you might have partially just answered my next question, but what were some of the most challenging moments on the Blue Mountain Trail?
Well, this is a new effort. So, being one of the first people out there, I was really working to ground truth it. So, working with the organization that's pioneering the route, the Greater Hells Canyon Council. So, essentially, last year, their trail coordinator had a line on the map, and the goal was to see, did it go? Like, was it hikeable? We knew there were going to be some issues. There's some cross country sections that to link together trails, and we were trying to find the right alignment. And so what I hiked isn't necessarily what the official route will be, because there's still a few areas where we're trying to find the best way, which will give the hiker or the trail user the best experience. So some of those were dropping down into these deep canyons. There are patches, quite a few patches of poison ivy. Luckily, I got away without any big outbreaks. But some other hikers who were out, there were four of us that completed the whole trail last fall. They did not get so lucky. They definitely had some run-ins with poison ivy and had that challenge to their hike.
Were there any unexpected challenges that you came across while you were on the hike?
Well, I had a very cold day. So I expected October to be cold. So I was prepared for snow and cold temperatures. I didn't have a frost for the first couple of weeks I was out there. But then when I was near Baker City in the mountain range called the Elk it dropped down to single digits. And so it was extremely, extremely cold. And granted, I had the gear, I had a 5-degree quilt. And I knew I would be okay, but I at night I figured, most of my water was going to freeze, and so I carried an insulated water bottle, a hydro flask, so that I knew I would have some water that wouldn't freeze for the morning, so I could make my coffee. That's one of the most important things every morning is a hot cup of coffee. But I went to the lake in the morning to get some more water to heat up to take with me, and the lake was frozen solid. So what had been a full body of water the night before was completely solid ice. So that was unexpected. I had never experienced a freeze like that so fast and so deep. But it ended up warming up that day, and it was a beautiful bluebird day on the Elk Crest Trail. And that was a really fabulous section because I was able to see to where I started in the Wallowa Mountains, Eagle Cap Wilderness, and to the other end of the trail, the Strawberry Mountains over by John Day. So the route is really like a corkscrew. And I, at that point, was almost in the middle, so I could see the beginning and the end, and that was really fascinating.
So like you said, you also pioneered the Oregon Desert Trail. You through hiked most of the like iconic epic hikes in the country. You've done the big three. So how does the Blue Mountain Trail compare in like difficulty and also reward, I guess, to the other through hikes you've done?
Sure. It has a lot of elevation gain, so I would say it in that regard, it's as difficult. So one of the sections you're hiking along the rim of Hell's Canyon, and Hell's Canyon is deeper than the Grand Canyon. So it's the deepest river canyon in the country. And there is one option to go down to the Snake River. And when you go down, that means you have to go up. So just dropping in and out of these river canyons, it's rugged. It was really rugged, a lot of elevation gain and loss. The same when I dropped into the Imnaha River and Joseph Canyon down to Joseph Creek. So the elevation gain was on par with a lot of the other long distance trails like the Pacific Crest Trail and the Continental Divide Trail. And I would say it had as much beauty as the other long distance trails. It's a There are granite mountain ranges, there are old growth forests, there are free flowing rivers that don't have dams on them. High alpine areas, mountain goats, bears, cougar. It's an amazing wild place. So I think it definitely ranks up there with what you would experience on other really long trails.
Are there any particular sections that you might recommend for a not as advanced backpacker or hiker?
Yeah, a great place to start would be the Crest Trail. So this is about a 22, 23-mile trail that already people know about, but it's right outside of the town of Baker City, and it's right out of the ski area, Anthony Lakes. So you can hike, and it's a ridge walk, a crest trail. So you're up high, and that's where I saw mountain goats. A portion of it that's not in wilderness is open to other like unmotorized like bikes, but it's incredible and it's well marked. There are places you can camp, so you have to get off the crest to find a campsite. But that's a fabulous area. To the Strawberry Crest, so right out of the town of John Day, there is another trail that goes along the spine of the mountains. And Strawberry Mountain is over 9,000 feet, and it drops down into Strawberry Lake, and there's this beautiful waterfall. You can camp by Strawberry Lake. So if you want the most reward for your effort, the crest of the Strawberry Mountains or the crest of the Elkhorn Mountains. Yeah.
So you've spent a lot of time exploring some of the more remote parts of Oregon. Are there any like favorite secret spots that you have that you'd be willing to share?
Well, I think the Oregon Desert Trail hits on a lot of spots. A lot of Eastern Oregon, both north and south, have spots that, well, it's far from Portland, it's far from the Willamette Valley, so it takes some effort to get there. But a place I've really enjoyed is the Fremont Wainema National Forest down almost to the border of California. So the Oregon Desert Trail ties into the Fremont National Recreation Trail, and this is really a transition zone between the desert and the forest. So, and you have views, there's this incredible geological feature called Abert Rim, which is one of the largest fault block mountains in the country. There are hot springs in the area. There's actually a geyser in Lakeview. So that transition zone, I think, is really interesting because you get the reward of the views, but you get some shade because there's a lot of places in the desert without much shade. So you have water, you have trees, but you have desert feeling and views over in the Fremont.